I don't know how well you can see me or even hear me. I am not bothering to set up the audio mixer, and I'm not bothering to worry about what I look like on camera. I was in the middle of things. It is extraordinarily hot here in Ohio, and this just happened. My wife, yelled up the steps at me, and it came down, and this is what I found. I will say that there are certain things that I'm really glad I had, like this bridge and this thing, because right now this thing is actually holding that sort of in its shape. So now I'm going to attempt to very carefully pull everything off of my shelves. And the reason that I decided to record it is because it's never going to look like this again. I mean, well, hopefully it's never going to look like this again, but it's never going to look like what it looked like before this happened again. So, yeah, here I go, trying to save my stuff. So, I found my my 5 1/4 floppies with, DOS 3 and Lotus Notes and Deskmate and that sort of thing. Although, at least I have a boxed copy of that. So, yeah. Anyway, this may be what prompts me to put away the remaining bits of my retro stuff collection, which is calculators, consoles, computers, typewriters, some cameras, but there's so many cameras I don't want to be one of those, because I would obsess, and that would be all I spent my time doing. Okay, let's try by removing all of the heavy stuff at the top and working our way down, because that just makes sense. This CD has held all of these things. So I can't move that CD yet. So move everything that is behind it. Ooh. That's alright, it's only a zip disk. Nobody cares about the iOmega zip drive. I only have one because it was neat for a second, but it was a sort of little too late, too little too late kind of situation. For those of you who don't know about iOmega, Google it. Man. Okay, that was a stupid thing I just did the way I moved that. But there's a TI-81 is intact. TI-83, which puts the 85 on the floor. Okay. I didn't know the disc in there. I'm sure that's not the best way to store that, but I don't care, it's all going to deteriorate eventually, and I have most of it imaged. Not that I want it to deteriorate. Zip drive. Okay. Saru took a hit. It's alright. A little damage to the box, but it was already opened, so I don't have a whole lot of mint or cherry stuff, because even when I get stuff like that, I like to use stuff, because it's not going to last forever. Nothing does. TI-84. I'm only missing, I think, 2 models of that particular calculator. Useless A23 batteries that went to a device that I bought, needed a battery for it, came in a 10 count, and the device was junk. it will probably come out of the box of shame at some point to be properly publicly ostracized. Yeah. This whole, oh, look at all my Tandy stuff. Oh, look at Lotus. Oh man, so we got my guide to the Tandy here. The Tandy 1000 that these things belong to, that I'll be picking up, I have the whole system, and I could have even had the C11 monitor, CR11? C11. Can't remember. Anyway, it was coming from Florida. The guy didn't want to pay the shipping charges for the monitor because it was extraordinarily expensive. Chances are it would have gotten damaged in transit anyway. I told him to keep the monitor, sell it to somebody local. I'll take everything else. I got the printer. I got the keyboard is immaculate. Everything on that Tandy is beautiful. And it runs. I just don't have another monitor at the moment to mess with it, nor do I really have the time. There's learning basic in the Tandy. That was one of the first things that I did, was learn basic. It wasn't on a Tandy though. It was on a compact. Oh no, what is this? There are bits of something that has genuinely just I don't know what that is. Okay. Things. No game room is complete without a gavel. I'm gonna have to go through and reorganize those. And I really hope, oh no. No, why did they have to fall against this of all things? This is a, oh, that's heart-wrenching. This is a magnetic thing. One of those discs was under an inch away. Not touching it, but hopefully these are weak enough, which they're pretty weak. That was a bad example, but anyway, hopefully, hopefully I didn't just lose one of my Lotus 123 discs. Quite literally. Forever. Alright. Oh, CM. Duh. So, there was it the CM11? I have the manual for the CM4, but, and then, you know, disk drive kit. The guide to the TI-81 graphics calculator from 1992, which to me doesn't seem like that long ago, but I guess it is. All the cars look weird now. Right. These are just for propping things up. That's what all this was for too. Probably shouldn't have used that wood, that was a little heavy. The thing that I think did this, I'll get to it momentarily. I think that it was the the W540 ThinkPad and the Flying Saucer Ubiquity something or other U6 Pro, I think what it is. The rest of my Star Trek Funkos. So I'm not a big collector of Funko Pop. I might as well talk about all this junk, right? So hopefully this isn't too super boring for you. The next video that I'm going to be doing, I think you're really, really, really going to like, because I'll give you a little tiny preview of what is being built here. You know, and it's got, you know, bits that, yeah, do things. So that's coming very soon. So if this is not your cup of tea, and the last couple things weren't your cup of tea, you know, this channel is a lot like the weather in Ohio. If you don't like it, just wait a little bit. So, oh, the Funko Pops. So I don't normally collect this sort of thing. And the reason is because I've known a lot of people. I had a friend who was a big comic book guy, big CCG collector. My wife and I do have a big CCG collection. We have over 10,000 Magic cards, but that's beside the point. They fit in drawers and stuff. Things like this, I just, you obsess over them and you search for them, and that's okay. But the way that I would do it, it would bug me to no end not having things. That's true of my other collections anyway, and that's true of any collector's collection, but it's not worth it to me for the space required. Having said that, my primary passion was, and I say was because it might be shifting, but my primary passion here was the retro PC collection that is underneath the table there and no longer on display. Go back and watch some of my older videos and you'll see them if you're interested. But I had my compact portable, the Tandy 1000, I think a 286, a 486 DX, which just, that one's immaculate. That one's absolutely fantastic. It runs like a dream. And then a couple servers. But my son knows that I do like comic books. I'm of an older era of them, of course, but because I do like that sort of thing, and I like Back to the Future, so there's my doc. My son, my youngest son, buys me Funko Pops from time to time when he finds ones that he knows represent something I'm interested in, because he also knows that because my collection is so scattered categorically, if it's neat, I'll add it. I like to look at these things. I like to pick them up and touch them. And, well, not those necessarily, I guess. Those are not as fun. They are fun to look at, though. And some of them I just absolutely had to have. I absolutely love that my son got them for me. One of those is that guy, Sticky Note Man. So, if you don't know where Sticky Note Man comes from, look that up, because you should watch that movie. Okay, what else do we have here? Oh, Hopper. I only watched the first 2.5 seasons of Stranger Things. It wasn't bad. It was going in directions that I was just kind of like, wasn't that I was repulsed or pushed away. I just didn't really care as much as I did in the earlier seasons, and that sort of, you know, Planetary Gears. I'll be making a much larger thing with Planetary Gears to accompany this thing that I haven't explained. And that actually goes to my other, or is for my other channel, which I don't know if I'll talk about while I'm doing this or if I'll talk about it in the next video. Probably a little both, maybe. But yeah, I have another channel that's for the non-circuit related stuff that I do, and there's a lot more of that. So I will still be doing smarter circuit stuff. It'll just be a little less frequent than it was before it became infrequent already. So the infrequency that you are now experiencing will continue, but there will also be additional stuff on the other channel. I would love to somehow have my members have both. So if you're a member of one channel, even though YouTube won't let me, like, I don't think it will anyway, sort of link memberships or give memberships away, I will try to make perks available in other ways to members who would like to see stuff on both channels. But that's way down the road. I'm not ready for that yet. I did rename the side channel, so if you were one of the 32 people who know, I had side bits, you know, Smarter Circuit side bits, and I have changed the name to a guy doing stuff, because that's what I am. I'm a guy doing stuff, you know, like this randomness. My grandson and I, that's the plan, anyway. I know some of these are going to be packages to other things, so I should probably get the Aston Martin down. This is the James Bond Aston Martin, and sitting right next to it, of course, is .007 GoldenEye for the N64. Probably one of the top 10 greatest games ever published by mankind. It probably pales in comparison to a lot of modern things, but it is one of the things that paved the way for those modern games. And it was just absolutely one of the top 3 games on the N64. And, controversially, my favorite system was the N64. Even though I played all the way up. Very close, followed by the SNES itself, because to me the SNES was condensed fun compared to what would later become Nintendo's competition, which was all about how things looked, not how they worked. Obviously, I play, lots of consoles, and primarily I'm actually a PC gamer because, well, keyboard and mouse is better. It just is. Anyway, console. That's the Snow Gear console. They have a bunch of different ones, of course. Now we get to what I believe caused all of this. Oh yeah, I can feel the weight come off of that. And it's these things. And believe it or not, this thing, which is quite heavy, is still only maybe a third of the weight of this monster. And it's got some, what do we got here? Diana Ross and the Supremes and the Temptations. 1968, stuck to the top of my W540. I believe this is the 540. Oh no, this is the T440P. That's right. So, yeah. I have quite a few ThinkPads because I love ThinkPads. They are incredible little machines. I wish I would have discovered them earlier, like, when IBM still owned them. But I didn't. I actually didn't. I mean, I was aware of them, but I didn't start using them regularly until after Lenovo bought the division. And from the machines that I saw prior to and the machines that I saw after that acquisition, Lenovo kept the quality that IBM had put in there, and that's a super rare thing for a company to continue making a good product that a previous company decided they don't want anymore, for a lot of reasons. I mean, I was surprised at how profit hungry they weren't in that case, or at least, minimal profit hunger. So, quick little side. If you are a gamer, you probably have heard of a genre called roguelike. The roguelike game genre started with the game Rogue for the Tandy 1000. There it is. I have 2 copies of this manual. I believe this is the one that's in better shape. But it's so beautiful. It's such an amazing artifact. I love the typesets. I love the drawings. I love the illustrations because I know they didn't just pop it in, Publisher or something like that, and just create it. They had to do a lot more work back then to make a thing like this. Granted, it's pretty small, but so is the game. Okay. If you are wondering about any of the weird little things that I have put throughout here, I'll go ahead and explain them. The bears. My grandmother collected bears. She had rooms full of them. I was given that collection about 3 months before I had a house fire and lost all but what you see here because these were still in my van. when the house burned down. So they go in here. And I don't know if you could see or even know what they are, but I have a lot of these little dudes, little tech decks. And those are because these were my youngest sons, and he is very much into skateboarding, and he's really good at it. He can do things with these too that I just can't. I can't do it. Okay. This is a partially finished ship that we had started to build, and then, you know, it got all Cat Stevens on us. So, you know, if you don't get that reference, well, I'm sorry. I'm going to leave the Fresnel for the moment because I suspect that it's actually keeping this from racking. Well, wait a minute. No, it couldn't. It couldn't. Not unless it was this way. Alright, so, Fresnel. Okay. I'm still going to leave that there because it is actually holding that thing. Oh boy, am I getting quite hot. Here's another little neat model that the youngest son and I put together. It's Da Vinci's paddle wheel boat. He also got me this, which is awesome. This little mini Miss Pac-Man. It's fantastic. My little good luck Buddha, which I think may have been out to lunch a little bit ago. And a little sign that I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I should have made it black. I could probably paint it black. But it just says, out with the new, in with the old. The reason that I have this is I was asked to make a case for the first HP scientific calculator and a slide rule with 2 plates, this was cut in half, to say out with the old and in with the new. And I thought it might be funny to say it the other way around because I like so many retro things. And you know, I'm getting into that cantankerous old man sort of stage, I guess, that I've been in since high school. Oh yeah, this thing. I was just kind of attempting. I have a laser. That will also come into play. I have a 3D printer, obviously, but I also have a laser that I'll be using on the other YouTube channel. But this was just sort of something I threw together. I just wanted to see if I could make something that resembled a locomotive, and I realize there's all kinds of things wrong with it. But, you know, from scratch in an hour, that's not half bad, in my opinion. And I don't know, maybe I'm biased because it's me, but I was proud of that one. This thing, the little keyboard island thing that I discussed in the password video. More of my favorite, I mean, all of these are obviously my favorite artifacts, but Stargate for the Genesis. Awful, awful, awful game. Awful graphics, awful gameplay, wasn't canon, even remotely. Yeah, it's a complete turd. So I had to have it. And then Miss Pac-Man, because Miss Pac-Man is awesome. And so I had this before the arcade, but this is why I have the 2. I would like to have Pac-Man, but later, at a much later time. And then, ooh. Oh, I'm not done up here. Oh. There's some extra numerals for the clock up there. It came with doubles of these ones, I'm assuming because they were prone to breaking. So I just tossed them up there. I'll probably, you know what? This is painful for me to do, but I'm going to throw these away. This is me reducing the stuff that I have in my office, or game room, however minuscule that may be. And then we have Baldur's Gate and Baldur's Gate 2 and Zelda Breath of the Wild, because they're cool. Actually, those are my wife's, which doesn't make them any less cool by any stretch. And then we have one of the my youngest son's earliest presents to me the Simpsons wallet. Pretty neat. Some magic cards from the Forgotten Realms set. They're still packaged. Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, of course, for the NES. And I'm going to probably just speed through this. This is taking a while. Hopefully I'm not boring people too much. This was there's a long story behind this one I'm not going to get into because it involves some painful memories for somebody. But I got it because of that sort of association. It has a negative association for somebody in regards to a relationship. So I took custody of it because it's a really neat die-cast model. Another bear. Got Donkey Kong Country here. I'm going to take these out because they're only setting in there. Maybe. Oh, okay. No, I'll take the whole thing out. Alright. My wife got me this ornament one year for Christmas of the SNES because it's awesome. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. Oh yeah, you should. Oh, okay, I can stop it. That's good. I think it actually goes through the whole level. Anyway, yeah, hopefully I don't get sued by Nintendo for my NES, which I had a similar incident a few years ago, and that is why there's a crack there in the lid. I could replace the lid. It's not like these things are that expensive or rare even, but yeah. I will probably plug it in and use it until I plug it in and it doesn't work anymore. Okay, SNES. And of course I have, Super Mario World in there, which is, in my opinion, the second greatest game for the SNES. And no, I don't think that the first greatest game for the NES is Mario Kart. SNES, excuse me. Super Mario RPG. What an amazing game. If you've never played it, even if you're young and don't remember that era or think that the graphics and whatnot are kind of corny, because by today's standards they sort of are, even if you're a younger gamer, I highly recommend checking out Super Mario RPG on an emulator or something. Now that's when Nintendo's going to send guys after me. But I definitely get your hands on it, play it, because it's awesome. I mean, it's like Final Fantasy level awesome as far as RPGs go. Which is another title that I have a lot of mixed feelings about, because I think the last good Final Fantasy was 8. And it's not just because I'm older that I say that. It's because they changed a lot of the way the mechanics worked, and the story became sort of bland. And you were doing some of the stuff was just too drawn out. Like, I think it was 12 that we were playing. I can't even remember what system. And you have to push a car because you run out of gas. I've had to push a car because I've run out of gas. I don't want to do it in a video game. I do that for leisure. Anyway, Donkey Kong Country 2, Mortal Kombat 2, Stanley Cup, I don't know why, and Uniracers, because you gotta have at least one bad game for the console. Of course, now we get to my prized possession. Well, it's not. One of my most prized consoles, of course, I've already kind of foreshadowed this. There's my Zelda for it, and that is my N64. You would think I would have more games for it, but really, I only need the 3, and those 3 are 007 GoldenEye, Zelda, and Pod Racer. Love this racing game. I do think it was unnecessarily difficult, but maybe that's why I love it. If it were easier, maybe it would have been worse. Or Magic cards. Okay, now my Genesis. Which of course, you know, Sonic 2, Mortal Kombat 2. If you don't know about the difference, and I have both of them. If you don't know about the difference between the Sega Genesis Mortal Kombat 2 and the NES Mortal Kombat 2, you should go read the history of this game specifically, or this franchise specifically, as it was between Sega and Nintendo, because there's some interesting stuff. I have this one because I like the SNES. I like the SNES controller. I like the Sega controller just fine. It has more buttons, and that was awesome at the time. But I still have a warm spot for all things SNES. However, if you like to have the full game with its entire story, the backstory of why you're doing the thing you're doing in the game, Mortal Kombat does have one, and it's only on this cartridge for reasons. You know, Nintendo reasons, we'll say. Very, very Nintendo reasons. And then, of course, the Genesis. I am running out of hydration and room. Oh boy, this is going to be... I don't know what the next incarnation of this is going to be. Es ist gut. This is something that was sent to me by a friend in Germany, whose brother is as talented as his brother, as far as like electronics and whatnot. And he actually sent me a mod for my M64. I have every intention of doing eventually on this channel, because it's going to be very, very cool, and because, you know, that was awesome of them to send it all the way from Germany. So that's why it sits in the set, because es ist gut, it is good. Oh, and then I have, you know, this PS2. I got it with the stickers on it. I don't put stickers on my consoles, but I also don't particularly care, especially because it's a slim. But it is the only representation of PS2 that I have, because I don't have my original Gen 1 PS2. I had a Gen 1 PS2. My brother and I spent all the money that we both had to buy the thing. And then, of course, this Xbox functions, and this 360 is broken. Either that or the 360 functions and this one is broken. I can't remember. Either way, if you turn either of them on for too long, they will eventually die. I mean, that's true of everything, but doubly true of early Xboxes, because they made them PCs with lots of oomph for their time and didn't give them proper ventilation. It was like Dell made it. And if you like Dell, you know, don't troll me in the comments. Or do, I don't care. And then I have this thing, because I like dominoes, so I bought some of these. If you don't know who Lily Hevish? I think it's Hevish? Hope I'm not butchering that. I know I've heard her say it. But anyway, if you don't know who this person is, you should check it out. If you like watching satisfying videos, and you should definitely check out her domino setups. And I mean, they're huge. I don't know if I would feel okay setting something that big up and then knocking it over, but I guess that's kind of the thing there, the 360. Rapidly running out of space. And then we have some other junk down here. It doesn't really matter. Old alarm panel was on my house when I got it. This is not a Game Boy, obviously. If you have ever held a Game Boy, then you would notice that either this is too small or I'm a monster, and I'm not a monster. So, yeah, this is actually I don't know if you can see from there, but it's a Retro Flag G-Pi case, Game Pi. and inside of the little thing that is oddly a larger cartridge than the cartridge, but for reasons, there's a Raspberry Pi Zero in this, and it runs emulators that you can then play. So, and it's really great. I actually used it for quite a long time. I should take the batteries out and charge them, because it wasn't that long ago that I used it. Set those over there. I don't think I'm going to edit this video, so if you're still here, thank you very much for joining me. I feel like you're commiserating the damage that has been done to my display with me, and I really appreciate it. SNES controller. But if you are still with me, thank you so much. Seriously, maybe consider hitting that like button though. I hate saying that. I always try to be fun with it, but I don't have the bandwidth at the moment. So please do that thing, because it makes the YouTube treat me better. Better, not good. So, it's like the difference between safe and safer. Safer isn't necessarily safe. Kind of like my setup here. And it's just the strap for the camera that I'm recording on at the moment. What I'm really glad of is that it didn't take down this shelf, which I will actually briefly explain after I get this in a state that it won't take down that shelf. Because if it did, it would be very bad. Oh yeah, I forgot about this thing. I forgot I had one of these. And it is absolutely functional. That's my X-Bone. Right. So, whoa, that's going to come down. Is there anything else on here? No. Okay. Oh, let me just record. This is the. Oh, where did that go? I didn't pick that up. Somewhere here. Did I? Oh, yeah, I guess I did. Okay. In case you didn't know, that's a keyboard for the TI-83 Plus calculator. And it uses this cord to communicate, because it basically uses serial communication, which most keyboards do. Even the old PS2 and IBM PC port keyboards. So, the only exception to that is in the Apple world. It's still serial, but theirs is slightly different because they created SCSI, which just basically allows you to plug all of your peripherals into one central bus in any order that you want, which was super, super novel, but not actually all that practical, compared to just and the thing is if you gave up being able to play any kind of games whatsoever, or get out of the ecosystem that you're in, just to do that, I mean, okay, to each their own. Not a Mac guy, for a lot of different reasons. One of the biggest is the proprietary nature of them, and $700 wheels. Yeah. If you don't know about Apple $700 wheels, I say this a lot. Go look it up. Read the internet. That's what it's there for. Okay. This one is sort of stable, so I am going to take this off. Hopefully that one stays. It does. And then I will. Aha! There goes my elbow tie. Yeah. I could probably reassemble this. I may reassemble bits of it, but I don't know. There it goes. Oh, Frodo. I knocked the Frodo down. But look at that. Look what it did. Angled those pretty good, it did. So, yeah. That is that. I don't think I'm going to deal with this right now because I have a lot of work to do. It is not this. But real quick, if you are curious, and you've been here this long, so you must be, this is the shelf. I have a lot of stuff on here. I'm not going to explain all the little bits here. They're just here, random stuff. The stuff that I really like are the Star Wars Legos. The Darth Vader Funko is one of my favorite things in the world. This is just a motion sensor for the room. I just actually set it there temporarily because I was going to put it on the wall. And then I have some Raspberry Pis and stuff over here. But this is my Oz dog. Who was the coolest dog in the world. I know every dog owner says that about their dog, but Oz really was the coolest dog in the world. We went through a lot of stuff. He was awesome. Okay. Oh man, that's another microphone. Get some I like the zip disc and some floppy disks, zip drive, and then Frodo, who doesn't have a box. I don't know where his box was. I don't think I got him with a box. But and then there's Gandalf, who's also here somewhere. He was on this shelf, so he is probably somewhere. Anyway, yeah. So that's it. The studio is going to change. This is probably going to put a bit of a delay on the next video because I need to sort this out. I'm probably going to pack it up and put it away for a while, just like I did with the retro PCs, and do as little as possible back here so that I can just get back to making videos. I have a lot of stuff. I have a lot of material. I just haven't had a chance to sit down, write scripts. You know, I knew that I didn't have time to do a massive amount of editing. So that's actually one of the reasons why I did the curtain system thing, that and I thought it was going to work. So yeah, there's a lot more stuff coming. I just keep running into life's little setbacks. So hopefully I will see you again in the next few weeks. Thank you for bearing with me. If you are a subscriber, thank you so much for being a subscriber. If you're a member, thank you that much more for that. But even all of the people who just watch, if you have watched my video for any length of time, which you would have had to have watched it for quite some length of time to hear this, but any of my videos, if you've watched them at all, thank you very much, because it all adds up to the things that make the channel grow. And it's also data. The more I see people watching, when they leave, when they replay, that kind of thing, I can get a feel for the things that you guys dig, and the things that might, maybe just belong on the other channel. That's why I'm doing the two channels now, because I feel like I was starting to get a little bit, well, I was definitely getting scattered. I'm probably going to cut back a little bit on some of that scattering, try to focus on electronics related topics, with the occasional little bit of security, because I think it's more important now than it's ever been as far as the internet is concerned. So, yeah, I am going to go back to work now before I come back down here and do this some more. Yeah. Don't think I'm going to record that because I only get about 30 minutes before my CCD overheats. So, even though I think it's a CCD. Anyway, before my camera sensor overheats, I have about 30 minutes, so, especially in this weather. So I'm probably not gonna take I don't even know what I'm gonna do.